for up to 8 hours.
That's a long live show.
It's a long live show. Okay, let's get on the actual. Hello, everybody. I don't know
Hi.
if I'm fully on here yet, but do a pop-up screen here.
Oh, I forget I have to go to your channel. That's right.
I'm not seeing it on mine yet.
No, I'm not seeing it yet.
But it says live, and it says stop broadcast, so and it says live up on the screen.
Yeah, I see live. Are we live?
Wait, maybe? Wait. Maybe it's because I had to do the through private that it's not public yet.
Oh, did you create the live show under private?
Yeah, just to like get it.
No, you have to do it under public.
Do I have to
do a completely new event?
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
I feel like you should be able to change it.
Can you? If you go to your live streaming, it should show that you're live streaming. Can you change it to public?
Let's see.
Yeah, you're not popping up.
Okay, it should be public now.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, yes. We are live.
Are we current? It's not just like the...
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're live. I see it.
Okay, cool.
Are we live? I think you can tell how many people are watching.
Yep. Yep, we're good now.
We're
okay,
good?
so I'm gonna pop out the chat here. Okay.
Only 2 people. Is that us? Does that include us? Oh, 3 people watching. That does not include us.
Oh, shoot, where is the other screen? Darn.
It's funny how every month we forget how to do this.
Seriously. You think that, like, and we've been doing it for so long. You think we would have gotten the hang of it by now.
It's like November. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Haley. This is a side note, but after seeing, Haley, your Instagram post, you know you can come up and say hi to me at work because I was totally there when you were here. Hi, Julie. Welcome back. It's been a while since you've been with us. So while we're waiting for people to trickle in, if we are going to have anybody else, we did put a lineup of books so you guys know ahead of time what books we're going to be reading. So I don't know where I've actually put that book.
Oh, I have a picture of it.
Oh, good.
I came prepared.
Where is that? Oh, it's over there. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, Julie, I've been in a terrible reading slump too. I read 2 books this month.
Okay, so this is going to be our next one for next month. Yeah. Trevor just brought home foods.
Fun.
So this is going to be our next month's book for July, and to be determined for when the live show is. But yeah. No, Haley, you can totally come say hi. I don't mind at all. it's gonna be really cute. And
yeah, it looks really good.
I'm really hoping that it's gonna be like kind of like Hunting Prince Dracula and like that type of like, because I think it's a historical fiction.
Yeah, it is historical fiction.
So I'm hoping that it's gonna be like really cute like that. And I think only thing is I'm gonna have like such high expectations because I'm expecting it to be as cute as them that I hope I don't ruin it ahead of time.
But if I remember correctly, it has like close to 5-star out of 5 stars on Goodreads.
I know, and Sarah Jane over at that book life, I think. No.
So it has.
Everybody knows who Sarah Jane is. She's like best friends with Sam over at Thoughts on Tomes. She like raved about this, and so that made me like want to pick it up too.
Oh no, Julie. Well, you can, since you've already read it, you can still participate.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm looking on Goodreads and it says that it's 4.12 out of 5 stars. So it's above a 4 out of 5 for 22 over close to 23,000 ratings, and it has 6,000 reviews.
While you're on there, you should look. What's the overall rating for When Dimple Met Rishi?
Lower than I thought it was.
What is it?
I thought it was like over a 5, but I think it's only at a 3.
Well, it can't be.
Yeah, 3.76. So it's not even at a 4 yet, complete 4. It has 24,000 ratings, and it's not yet a 4. So it's a 3.76.
Ooh, I love good audiobooks. I would just like to point out, like, I've looked into henna recently. This is the marriage henna. I'm almost positive.
Is it?
On the cover. I'm almost positive. Unless they look identical. I'm also like, I could be a noob with that and I wouldn't know. But I've been looking at pictures of henna recently, and I'm pretty sure that's the marriage one.
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking it up on images and it's like the entire hand.
Oh yeah. I had a teacher in high school that like he was like decked out in it. We're like, whoa.
Nice. I actually listened to the audiobook for When Dimple Met Rishi, and I liked it. I think I probably would have I think I enjoyed it better listening to it than reading it.
So do we want to talk about what our ratings were for this book? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. Well, I gave it like a 3.75. So I gave it a 4. What?
Are you serious? You gave it that high?
So I gave it a 4 on Goodreads. Yeah.
What? Man, the audiobook must have been amazing.
It was, I liked the audiobook. Yeah. There were 2 narrators. So there was a female narrator for Dimple and then male narrator for Rishi's side or point of view, which I liked because their point of view like moved so much. I think I would have been confused at like who I was reading if I didn't have the narrator's voice. So
well,
that
I mean, like
really
it's
nice.
It very clearly is like separated.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
when
so it's like when they switch back and forth, like it's pretty obvious.
Okay, so when you're reading it, okay. Well, if you were like listening to it, I feel like you would have gotten a little confused if it had been the same narrator.
Totally, I could totally see that.
So,
although I feel like
what'd you rate it, a 2?
Like a generous 3.
A generous 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Like my side.
What did you guys rate it? Well, here's my like thing of why it got docked so much. Contemporary, it's all about the relationships. Like that's what a contemporary is. And I didn't care for the relationship. So I was just like, meh.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like the romance was like nothing special. I gave it 3. Okay. So Haley gave it a 3.75. Yeah, so what I think was like the redeeming quality is the fact that we don't get a lot of YA contemporary in like the college setting. The only other YA book that I've ever read was Fangirl. And so I thought it was refreshing to have that. Technically they weren't in college, but they kind of were. Like they were doing a summer. Yeah, I cared a lot more about their project.
Julie. Julia said, well, I DNF'd it, so I don't feel like I can rate it. I will say this, I tried to read it during my slump. Fair enough. It just wasn't like something special to me. Like, it's definitely not a reread. I like, this is a book that I kind of wish I would have maybe rented from the library. However, I did only pay like $4 for it, so I can't be that mad about it. But
yeah, I couldn't find it on sale and I had already listened to the audiobook, so I don't actually think I'm going to buy it.
yeah, see, it's not one that I like need for my collection.
Yeah. So I liked the project. I liked the college of it. Like, I liked Dimple's drive and her passion in school. It just really, it kind of took me back to when I was in college. So I really liked that. But honestly, like, I could have done away with their whole romance. Like, it could have literally been like a friendship, Dimple and Rishi just being in school, just following Dimple in college. I would have just been even happier.
Yes, see, so my main thing that I really liked about it was I liked that we saw the Indian culture and we got to see that background, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, her attitude from the very beginning, I really liked her. Like, I found her a really intriguing character. And then the more she spends time with Rishi, the more she kind of wavers on her strong will
Yeah.
and
It
her,
was
like, headstrongness, and she just kind of, like, falls off and falls in love, and she's like, done. And I'm just like, what happened to you being so, like, strong, independent woman type of thing? And she
yeah.
just, like, is now in a relationship, and that's her world. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, definitely. So I noticed, I mean, it was extremely insta love, and I did not like that. Like, this whole thing is over 6 weeks, but they fell in love with, and like, so his brother came to visit, and he was like, how much time do you guys have left? And they're like, oh, 3 weeks. And then they had sex. So, like, literally, they met 3 weeks ago.
And they were like already like, oh, I love him. Like, well, and here's, like, I was so annoyed because she was very clearly being like, no marriage. That's not what I want. This is, I'm here for my career. And then it grew into, let's date long distance. Let's have sex. I love you. And then they were like sprinkling talking about marriage. And I'm like, what? That was completely two different books there.
Yeah. And then, see, I kind of would have, and I was like mentioning this in my vlog, that towards the end, they break up. And I was like, huh, this may not be as cliche or as predictable as I was assuming. Like, I kind of liked that. I thought it would have been a good, like, because that's realistic. And I don't necessarily know if it's maybe the Indian culture where, they have arranged marriages and they stay together, that's just how it is. But like, from experience and stuff, like, American culture wise, usually that doesn't happen. You don't meet someone for 6 weeks and then go off to separate colleges and stay together. Usually you'll end it before you go off to college, typically, And I was like, oh, okay, I really like this because it's different. It's not predictable. And sure enough, they get back together the day they're leaving for college. And I'm just like, what?
And it was so cheesy, like, along with the insta-love, just, like, some of the things, it's just, like...
It was so cheesy.
Almost cringy, because I'm like, why are you having to... Like, I get tropes, like, you can't get away from some tropes, but you don't have to play the dang card of the, like, word-for-word trope. And I'm like, this is too far tropey for me. And that's what, like, killed it so much for me, is because I was just like, one, all of her spitfire, like, fell to the wayside, in my opinion. Like, she let herself get way more into the relationship than she did the competition. I'm just saying, like, if that was my passion, I'd be like, settle down. Like, I have to deal with my stuff type of thing. And I would not be so, like, swayed by a boy who she originally hated at the beginning of the 6 weeks or whatever. And now she's in love with him. Like, no.
I would have preferred it if it had been like a friendly thing, like maybe like a friendship that evolved, like a really good friendship. I think I would have found that because you can create Insta friendships. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, people click really quickly, you know, sometimes. So I would have been completely okay with that if they had just kind of kept it friends and just maybe removed the whole romance aspect.
See, I was really, really hoping that it was going to be like a hate to love trope because I think that would have been really interesting. And like we would have been able to see like the Indian culture and him trying to keep his devotion to his parents and to keep his devotion to his culture, and then have it be like a hate to love and being like, wow, she's awful, but I need to stay with her because like this is who I'm supposed to be with, and like that like animosity playing off of each other and then them falling in love. I think that would have been really great, and like I thought that was maybe going to get to that, and then it just was like it fizzled that hope so fast.
Yeah, I agree. I love the love to hate relationship. I'm here for that trope. It's one of my favorite tropes.
And I felt like it so could have worked in this situation, and it just didn't happen like that. And I'm like, no, like that so could have worked so well in this because they could have shared, like had common interests and shared, and they could have been like butting heads and helping each other like with the coding and with the artist stuff. And I was just like so disappointed that it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, Julie, I completely agree. So Julie said that she felt like it could have been more of a middle school romance almost. And yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people mentioned that on the Goodreads discussion, that the romance felt really juvenile. And I agree.
I agree with that too. It's like not a good romance for, especially because they're in a college setting, that it felt very juvenile with that setting behind them. Granted, that could also be like I thought like the innocence was because of their Indian culture, and they were playing that up, that they were trying to preserve themselves, and but then they went and had sex, and I was like, well, okay, now I don't know why they've been acting like this type of thing.
Yeah, I was really shocked with that. Like,
I know, they went from like 0 to 60 so fast.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that was huge taboo.
And I get like that's her rebelling against his like, or you know, like their parents and stuff, but it felt ingenuine for me.
Yeah, agreed. Haley, yes. So Haley said that her favorite part was at the beginning when he made the joke and she threw the coffee at him. I love that. Yeah, I'm like, where was that dimple? Like, how do you go from in 3 weeks you throw coffee at a guy to sleeping with him in 3 weeks?
Yes, I really liked when she was like pissed off at the beginning. It was like, no, I am not being with this person for being partners, and I loved that part, that she had that fire and she was like ready to make him leave type of thing, and I liked that. I like loved that fire and that like animosity between them, and that's where I was like getting the hope to have like a hate to love trope.
Mm-hmm. So if this hadn't been a Muggles like book club, would you have DNF'd it?
Ooh, in my current state, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't DNF books. Like I hate, and it's not like that bad for me to DNF a book. I don't think. I just don't think it would have been a book that I would have like not necessarily DNF'd, but I would have put down, and like 3 months later, I would have been like, oh yeah, I never finished that book. Like it does not leave a lasting impression for me to come back to the book.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But not because it was like usually when I DNF books, it's like, holy crap, this is terrible. Like it physically pains me to read this. It wasn't that bad, but it was like just nothing was pulling me back to it because I didn't care about the relationship. I cared more about like Dimple and Celia's friendship than I did about Dimple and Rishi.
Yeah, I loved Celia and Ashaj. I thought they were great. I didn't DNF it on purpose. It just felt meh. Yeah,
I agree.
I don't even think I've ever DNF'd a book. There's been books that took me forever, but I always end up finishing it at some point. Haley, I envy you.
I used to be like that. I've only DNF'd a very few books. I just feel so guilty DNFing books.
The problem with me is if I push through, I get in a reading slump. And like, that's what Scythe did to me, honestly. the more I think about that book, the more I want to rate it like a 1 star. Like,
Oh, it's not that bad.
it was so bad. I really didn't like it, and it just put me in a terrible reading slump. So if I push myself to finish a book that I really don't like, I will get into a reading slump. So, but I envy you being able to finish it. That's fantastic. So what? Okay, so we kind of went over. What did you guys rate it? So Julie, oh, you said you didn't finish it.
I really gotta give it a 3.75.
Okay, so I mean, Julie, if you as of what you read, what would you have rated it?
Do you guys think that you could do an arranged marriage?
No.
But what if he ended up being the man of your dreams? Would you still be pissed because it was an arranged marriage, it was just forced on you type of thing?
I think it depends. I guess it just depends on. I don't know. I mean, they still do that. Arranged marriages, they still do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Julie said that she would rate it a 2.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that would be so. It just depends. I think I would be open to it if I met him and had the chance to interact with him and then be given maybe the choice. So it sounded like with Dimple and Rishi that it wasn't necessarily arranged because they weren't forced to be in getting married, right? They were the parents choose people for them to date and then they decide if they want to. I see. I'm confused because I wasn't sure because with this book it made it sound like she had a choice. But from what I understand with arranged marriages is you don't have a choice. That's who your parents pick for you and that's who you marry.
Yeah, I guess arranged marriages, technically, they're you don't meet them until you're saying I do type of thing. So I guess just having your parents be a matchmaker, would you accept that then?
I think I trust my parents well enough to pick me somebody good.
Really? You can only date these people from your parents' dating pool?
Yeah, I mean, I think my mom would I think I could see my mom picking me someone good.
Oh my God. I love my mom. But my mom would be the complete opposite of what I would want. I'd be like,
see,
what
I would
doing?
trust my mom because my husband and my dad are extremely similar. They're so similar, which is really weird. But yeah, they're really similar. I wouldn't trust my sister and I have very different taste. So I wouldn't trust my siblings. But I think I would trust my mom.
I don't know. I think I'm kind of with I'm just stubborn. So I'm if you tell me I can only date these people, I'm going to be like, no. I'm going to force, I'm going to pointedly pick someone not in that just to spite you.
It also depends on a point in your life. If I was 50 and still single, maybe, my mom's like, I think I found you someone. What?
You were real desperate at that point.
Not that there's anything wrong with being single at any age, if that's what you choose. But if I wanted to be with someone and I was I was older, then maybe I'd be okay, let's see this. Because isn't that kind of what online dating is? Kind of. They match your profiles and then you decide if you want to go out with them.
Yeah, but it's not your parents.
No, that's true.
I feel it's a bit different.
It's an algorithm. It's worse. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I feel parents would have this weird ideals, and then I don't know.
Yeah,
I think there's just that weird energy too.
Yeah.
Knowing that this person picked, or your parents picked out this person for you to potentially sleep with, that's weird.
Yeah. Well, when you say it like that, it's creepy. Have you ever seen the movie Because I Said So?
No.
Oh, it's really cute. It's with Mandy Moore. But essentially, like, her mom is just so obsessed with getting her guys, and she like sets up an online profile for her, like mother seeking daughter, like husband for daughter. Yeah, hilarious. It does not end well for the mom and the daughter.
Haley said the audiobook definitely helped. Otherwise, I probably would have given it like a 2.75.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed the audiobook. That's why I think if I had read it, I would have given it a lot less. And I ended up giving it like a 3.75.
What, that's so interesting how much an audiobook really affects a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how much that really throws off ratings on Goodreads.
Yeah, because like, so the cheesy parts that you were reading, listening to it was kind of cute. So like when Dimple was saying like, oh, when she was always talking about his smile and his ears going red, I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cute. I was like listening to it. But if I had read it, I probably would have been like, wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, and she like talks about his floppy hair like a lot. And I'm like, I get it. His hair's in his face. Cool. Like, can we move on?
Okay, can we talk about the part where Dimple holds her breath and then lets it go because she forgot to breathe?
Oh my God, I know.
3 parts. That happened like 3 times. I was like, are you kidding me?
Haley, I agree. Bloodline's audiobook is not top notch.
Oh, I liked it.
I can see how her voice is annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like she's a bit like snooty type of voice.
She sounds like the Lissa voice in the first one.
Yes. Yeah, it does. I always like to try to at least. Oh, I liked Adrian's voice.
Yeah, Adrian's voice is just so good.
I always like to try to attempt to read books. So I'll probably attempt to read My Lady Jane, but y'all have to like let me know like halfway through the month if I should switch to the audiobook.
Yeah.
Are you gonna physically read or are you gonna audiobook?
I just requested both on my public library, and they're both available. So I'm gonna.
Nice.
Yeah, so I got both. I have both I ordered it. So right now I have the ebook and I have the audiobook while I'm waiting for my actual physical copy to come in. Oddly enough, I read faster on ebooks than I do on physical books. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because you're like sliding. I have no idea why, but I find myself reading so much quicker on an ebook, even though I don't like ebooks. I don't dislike them, but.
So, can we all agree that the competition was the best part of this book?
Yes. I love
the Indian culture. I really want an Indian culture book that is better. Yeah. But I like having it there.
I love the dorms. Like, oh, I need to go back to my dorm room and shower. Oh, I have a roommate. It's just like it brought me back to like when I lived in the dorms with my roommate. I don't know. I think maybe that's why I liked it so much. And like remembering like those very first like nights where you're like with your roommate and it's like someone you just met and it's like, oh, I need to shower. Oh, it's okay. I don't know. It's just yeah. So I liked that.
I was also kind of surprised that they like. I thought Indian culture, and I could be totally wrong, but I thought the Indian culture they were going to be a lot more protective of their children, and so I thought she's gonna freak out that she's there. Like Dimple is staying with this girl that she's never met for months and sharing a room with her. Like I thought they would be more conservative about that.
I don't know.
They just like didn't say anything about that, and I was like waiting for that shoe to drop for her parents to be like, "What?"
I don't know about the Indian culture. I do know more about like Middle Eastern. I have a really good friend of mine that I grew up with. They're like Middle Eastern, and they're very protective of the women. So like she lived at home until she got married and then moved in with her husband. Like she commuted to college she lived like at home, commuted to college from home. So I don't really know about the Indian culture. I don't know if they're as protective. But that's just like, for some reason, women in that culture, like men were able to like leave the house, but she had to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
maybe
why I was like expecting something because she was staying away and with some random person. I just thought it was weird that they didn't say anything about it.
yeah.
Also, that whole little like snippet in the beginning about her auntie and like the sister or bride to be or whatever, that whole part of it, I didn't really see the merit of showing all of that, and I thought it was very weird to have that in there.
You mean her sister-in-law?
Yeah, it was because she's an only child, so it wasn't her sister-in-law, but
No,
it
she
was
has
like,
a brother. She
no,
has
I
an
thought
older
it was
brother.
I thought it was a cousin.
I thought no. It's her older brother and it's his wife.
Is it her older brother? I thought that she was an only child. Where did I
She's the
read
only
that?
daughter, I think.
Oh,
I have no idea. I'm confused. Let us know, guys.
yeah. Do you guys remember? Oh, so everybody knows what we're talking about. But like, I didn't understand why they were showing that, and it was like because it was like the auntie brought over the girl and was like, "Oh yeah, like I want her to like me better," type of thing.
Okay, so I misread. Everyone's saying I thought it was a family friend. Okay, so I'm probably misunderstood.
But I thought that was weird, and so like the whole situation was like very uncomfortable. So I thought there was going to be like something coming about that, about like the culture, about like how they treat the women when they're getting married or something like that. And it just kind of fizzled away, and I didn't quite understand why that was in there.
I don't know.
Because like we didn't hear anything else about it. And it's like we just see that awkward interaction.
Doesn't she come back though at the very end of the book?
Does
And
she?
she's pregnant.
But that doesn't explain like the weird.
No, it didn't explain it either. No.
It was just like a who are you character. Like
I
what?
think it was just trying to show like, oh, I had an arranged marriage and it was fine. I don't know. I didn't get it either.
So I didn't particularly like that part of it.
I didn't get it because I thought that was her sister-in-law and his brother and her brother.
If that was the case, I that would make a little more sense. You know, like that, like why they showed him. But I'm almost positive they said that she was an only child.
Yeah, I think you could be right.
So I know that like the mom really was appreciating her beauty, and she was trying to like 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 get her to basically like nag or snag a husband, right? I did not like the message that all sent in the beginning, and like pretty much through the book, but like Dimple's self-worth was so little, and I think a lot of that had to do with her mom, and I didn't like that was like never checked by the dad either.
And I wonder, is that part of the Indian culture?
To make their daughters feel like crap and be like,
No,
"You're not
no,
pretty solid."
just like finding a husband.
I get that, but she like constantly was like, "I don't care about your brains, like go put on eyeliner," type of thing.
What is it? Card something? Cartier or whatever.
Yeah,
Really expensive eyeliner. I love that she didn't wear makeup.
I do too. I really like that we had a YA character who didn't care about that stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
I really loved that she was into coding too, like that they're in like STEM, like that was I love anything that's with girls in coding because you don't see a lot of that. And
No, I love that. Yeah, Haley, beauty is not everything. I agree. So I yeah, and I like how Celia was like helping her get dressed for like her first their like non-date, and she was like, "Let me put some makeup on you," and Dimple's like, "No, you already got me into a dress. No
yeah.
makeup." And I was like, "Oh, I love that. I really loved that." So, who was your favorite character?
Can we just take a look at the back? I just like this is their first interaction.
I love that is awesome.
I never like fully clicked that was what the back was.
She's supposed to have curly hair.
Yeah. I mean, she has waves, but it's not like frizzy. I was expecting, like, when I was picturing, I was expecting like super big, like tight curls. Do you guys think that you'll pick up the second one?
No.
See, and I have it because of Owl Crate. But I'm like, but it's not following the same. Yes, I was expecting Hermione hair, Haley.
Yeah.
So
Is that a debut novel? Is that her first novel?
I don't know. So this one is not following the same people. So, but I just, and it's like, where was I? When Dimple met Rishi, a BuzzFeed Best YA Book of 2017. Like, there's so, like, Best YA Book. Like, are you joking?
Yeah.
So, it might be cute, but it's, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I didn't really care for this one, if this one will be any better, because I don't like her type of contemporary. It's just not believable.
Yeah. It could be better though if it's her second book. Like some, authors like sometimes you have to give them a couple books and then they like really it gets better.
Realistic.
I don't really read very much fluffy contemporary. Yeah. And like I think that's why I give it such a generous rating is because of the college aspect. If this were set in high school, I would have probably given it like a 2.5 or something. Maybe a 3.
But if you look at the maturity level of them, they kind of already are. I mean, they're kind of in high school.
Yeah, but I love the dorm. Like if you took everything that I loved, like the dorms, the roommates, like it made sense. So what I hate in high school is like the parents are never around and it's stupid because they're in high school. Why are the parents not around? And I like this because the parents aren't around and it makes sense because they're in college. I mean, but they're still around. Like I liked that the parents were still involved when they're in college, but yeah, if you would remove the whole like project coding, all of that, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much.
So I'm.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
That's okay. We're still go. We started a little late, so we're still going good.
Yeah, I loved how concerned Dimple was about her father's diabetes. I know. I thought I really liked that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So I made some notes for this, and
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Little Comic-Con. What Rishi's personality during Little Comic-Con was like so weird. And I understand that he was like trying to hold back, but like who is he trying to I that part I just didn't love because he was trying to hold back in front of her when he had already like shown her how much he liked it type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't understand how all of a sudden he became so introvert. Like you go up to this random girl you haven't ever met, you basically propose, and now you go to a comic book setting and you're just like you like cower. I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah. But I really loved the party scene. That was one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah.
Like, especially that she was like pushing him to eat foods and freak him out. Like, I was loving that.
Oh gosh, I love I love that. That was amazing.
And I really liked the like drawing scene. That was a really good scene. Like the draw off or whatever, the sketch off.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was, I mean, that all is very unrealistic for college parties. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But I was very entertained that they made it more innocent for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Usually there'd be alcohol for sure.
Yeah. I was really expecting like the brownies that they were talking about to be pot brownies. I was really waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
Another part that I really disliked about this book, it was very convenient that they had already met when they were younger. I mean, I get it, like are all like big community, but I was like, come on. Like they could have easily been like a almost but didn't, like they found out they were both at the same parties when they were younger and they didn't notice each other type of thing. But like they were very like that's very convenient and they had an interaction when they were like super young.
I hated that. Like,
Yes.
if you're gonna introduce that, introduce it at the very beginning.
Yeah, like have that be like the opening scene.
Yes. Oh, that would have been great. Yeah. Like, kind of introduce it already to where they already know each other. So it's like a way for a book to get, it's a way for like to get out of having to flush out like a relationship when there's already an existing one, but you have to do it at the beginning, kind of like Illuminate. No spoilers,
Yes,
I
so
promise.
it like gives the relationship depth already
Yeah,
without it seeing like an afterthought and putting it in and being like that was random, like that's a one scene, why did we get that?
exactly.
Like you know the movie with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes, see,
I
and it
love that
shows them
movie.
interacting when they're children first and then it like flashes forward, and that's the way that you need to do it to create that character depth and that relationship depth.
Yeah. And like, for example, like in Illuminate, I promise there won't be spoilers with this, but like the characters have already been in a relationship. Like the book starts and they have broken up. So there's no insta love because they already had a relationship. So I like that. It like you can take away the whole, you can't say that it's insta love because it's not. They already knew each other.
Yeah, it gives it more credit.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't like that either. Like him giving her a flower and then all of a sudden they're on their non-date and he like remembers, oh, you're the girl from the party when I was like 8 years old. And I'm just like,
Right. And she like recognized it from his sketches. Like, come
oh,
on.
come on.
Like and they're supposed to be like what, like 19, 18, 19?
Yeah,
And
they're
it's like you remember something from 10 years ago.
yeah. Yeah, I did not like that. Yeah, it was really
Exactly.
convenient.
Very
That
convenient.
whole thing could have just been taken out.
Yeah.
I hate
Again, it was like she realized how insta love she was making this and was like, how can I solidify this relationship?
no, but that just no. I hate drama just for there to be. I hate scenes that are just there just to like be there. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're gonna have conflict, if you're gonna have drama, you need to move the plot along. You can't just have something put in there for convenience when it doesn't mesh well.
I felt like there was an like we got backstory, we got like what they're motivated by and what their passions were, but I felt like we didn't get like full well-rounded backstories. Am I the only one? Like I just didn't feel like I fully knew them. Like I knew they both like he liked to draw and she liked coding, but like we didn't really get to see like how they were shaped growing up and what that like they even talked about like their parents and how they were shaped, but they didn't talk about them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like maybe if we had seen flashbacks of when they were little and stuff.
Or like how they I don't know, I feel like we didn't there's very like one-dimensional characters for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like the character development wasn't fully there because it's like you see just where they're at now, and like I would have loved to see like more interactions of even not necessarily flashbacks, but just like them talking about like previous arguments like between her and her mom, or like why her and her dad are so close, but her and her mom are like out on odds, and it's just I didn't feel like there was any depth there, and the only character development that we got was that one little scene of him making origami flowers.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not character building, that's just like that's like a filler.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like I think about like the Raven boys, we see like what makes them tick in their family lives and why they're like that's a good character because you know them fully, you know like their ins and outs of the character, and I could not tell you like besides that she likes the code, I couldn't tell you anything about her.
Yeah, because honestly, her character instead of arcing, it like plummeted. She went in so strong, like you said. She was like really spunky, and she was just very, just headstrong.
Yeah.
And she meets a guy. 3 weeks later, it's like, oh, I'm in love. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna like forget everything I want. It's this
Yeah.
boy. And then she like comes to that realization. She breaks up with him after 6 weeks, and then they get back together 2 months later. And you're just like, what?
Where's that fire?
Yes. I
We
will
would have
say,
gone farther in life without him.
yeah. I will say one of my favorite scenes though was the dinner scene where they went out with like
At the
Celia's
book
friend.
cafe.
What?
At the book cafe, because I liked that dinner scene.
No. The scene where they went, this is like the first time Dimple and Rishi like went out at all. Celia and like her friend Isabel was there, and like the two guys that were awful.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they make really good mac and cheese, and it's like $48 mac and cheese.
Yes, where he paid for everything.
Yeah, I really, really liked that scene. I thought it was really funny. Like,
Yeah, because he had spunk there. Like,
yeah,
he had fire.
yeah, I really like that banter between all of them.
I totally want that bookstore restaurant, Haley. I'm with you.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything they want to add? Let me go to the Goodreads page and see if there's anything that people talked about.
I feel like we don't have a ton to talk about this because I just don't care. Like, that's so terrible, but it's like, I didn't love it. So it's like, meh.
Trisha mentioned the multiple point of views, that it was just too much, like back and forth.
I felt that only one time because it was like constant flipping. And I was like, no, just stay into one, because I was like getting into their head. It felt like, and I was like, I wanted to see from like everything instead of it flipping back and forth. But otherwise, it didn't bother me. There's only like one chunk that I wish that they would have just like stopped flipping.
Yeah, it didn't bother me either.
I think it's probably better for the audiobook though, like why it didn't bother you so much.
Yeah. I will say this though, the only thing that's really weird about having two narrators is like, so when Dimple talks, she has a different voice when the guy speaks, because like when the girl's narrating, Rishi sounds different than when the guy's narrating. So you're kind of following like technically 4 voices, but it's really not that bad. Because the narrators, I think they had some sort of Indian accent. So it was like
felt more authentic.
Yeah, so Dimple's name and Rishi's name, and they all had like that Indian accent. So I like that.
I wish I would have listened to the audiobook purely so I could hear how some of the Hindi words are said. Because in my head, like, I don't know how to say those,
Yeah. That's how I knew it was Ashish, not Ashish.
I can't think of one character that was fully fleshed out in this book.
I loved his brother. But
he wasn't fleshed out.
No, he wasn't, but I really
not at all.
His brother. What?
Like, not at all. Like, he had, like, at least he had, like, attitude and had a personality. That's it. A lot of these characters didn't have personalities.
Yeah.
Like, she had a personality at the beginning, and then at the end, like, you could put like another contemporary name on it, and it would have, like, you wouldn't have been able to tell a difference.
Same with him. He had a lot of spunk, and then it just flat
fizzled.
Yeah, for sure.
They were both better without each other.
See, and that's why I think, I did not read this book for the romance. I was really like, and I'm usually like I want my ships. I want people to stay together. I hate when characters break up just to create drama. I think it's dumb. Stay together. But in this instance, this is the first time that I've ever read a book that I was like, I actually want them to stay apart. Like, I think it would have been a nice summer fling, and then they go their separate ways. But no.
Or, like, I would have been okay with them being, like, meeting each other at this camp and then, like, flash forwarding to them going through college, never, like, clicking with anybody, and then coming back to each other and being like, oh, our parents really do know us. Like, we should have been together from the beginning. Like, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like maybe they had been arranged since like high school. But then it kind of takes away the whole like shocking how Dimple was so shocked because she had no idea this was happening.
Yeah.
I love that. I think maybe I also would have liked it more if maybe they were going to the same college. Like maybe if this summer program were only like allowed to like SFU future college students, and I could see it better because it's like this isn't just a 6-week thing. This is like we're gonna go to the same college anyways. So it could have been slower, not so insta love. Like the relationship could have started and then maybe continued on, and just maybe left it at like a little cliffhanger, like, well, we'll see how school starts. We'll see how it goes in the fall, when they start, kind of thing. Then them literally because them going to separate colleges, they have to try and like move everything. They have to move so quickly. But if they were going to the same college, I think that we could have really slowed down the relationship.
Yeah, I agree. See, thank you, Julie. Julie says they would have all been better storylines. We just need to clearly write a book. If only either one of us could write.
Oh my gosh, guys. I would
pitch ideas and someone else can write them.
What?
We'll just pitch ideas and someone else can write them.
Oh my gosh, I could never write a book. I would love to write a book, but I could never write a book. I would throw in tropes and it would be bad. It would be really bad.
It's okay. I would read it and be like, Gabby, this is terrible. What are you doing?
Do not publish.
Thanks, Julie. I could not. I don't have the dedication. I would get bored and over it to be a writer. So kudos to you, Haley. I'm not that dedicated.
I think my problem is I'm not like really creative either. Like I feel like my characters would be so flat. My conflicts would be so boring. I can't come up with like some of these amazing plots.
Especially like contemporary. I don't know, like there's only so much that can be realistic.
Yeah. See, if I wrote a book, it would have to be fantasy. Maybe like new adult fantasy. And like I would want Sarah J. Maas to coach me. And it wouldn't be good. It would be like a terrible, bad world building. I'm just not creative, unfortunately. I wish I was, but I'm not.
See, I couldn't do the plot. I could build the world for you and like make like maps and everything. Like I could do all that, but I would not be able to like figure out the conflicts and make it intriguing.
I think we're on to something. Yeah, fantasy. I feel like we don't have enough like really good fantasy. I don't know. What do you guys just think about like the books so far for like 2018, like 2017, 2018? I feel like just they've been falling kind of flat.
I agree. I've been like anticipating fall because that's when things are gonna kick into gear.
Yeah. And I mean, we've read a few like not necessarily debut novels, but like books that have just been released, like The Cruel Prince, The Glass Spare. Those were all new books, and they just fell very flat. I mean, they weren't awful, but what?
I liked The Cruel Prince.
I mean, they weren't awful, but it wasn't like, wow, this is amazing. It wasn't like Stalking Jack the Ripper, like where you.
But that's hard to compare with anything with me, though. That's not fair.
That's true. I don't know. Your first novel was basically Twilight.
Well, do you guys have anything else that you wanted to wrap up and talk about before we switch over to Bloodlines? saw that you rated it a 5 out of 5 stars, Gabby.
Yes, I did.
Oh, see, I've heard good things about the Fallen Kingdom series, but I've heard it fizzles out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to start over into Bloodlines. Thank you guys for joining us, and if you are sticking around to do Bloodlines, we will see you in a minute.
Oh, really quick, sorry, because we have new viewers. Our book pick for July is My Lady Jane. Just wanted to mention that really quickly.
Yes. And the live show for this is to be determined.
Yes.
Like always. That's all right, Haley. It's like Rochelle Mead basically just wraps things up at the end.
Yeah, you're good. No more spoilers.
Okay. We'll see you in a minute.